Let's take you straight to Ekiti State. All is looking set. In fact, the place from the last 1 week, there has been so much buzz about the election coming up on Saturday.
Yes, indeed.
And there has been, it looks like it's just going to be two political parties running but it's not just two.
It's not just two, and that's what we're going to try to find out from our senior political correspondent, Ayo Zubaku, who is on ground there right now in Ekiti. Okay.
Exactly.
Ayo, good morning to you.
Good morning, Ngozi. Good morning, Mike.
All right.
Morning, Ayo. Nice to see you.
Maybe we should start from clarifying exactly. Let our viewers know how many people are going to be on the ballot come Saturday.
Yes, from the INEC manual I have here, we have 35 candidates from 35 different political parties. And this INEC manual went further to update us that we're going to have a total number of registered voters that they've compiled so far as put as this exact figure, 913,334. That is almost 1 million registered voters. 913,334 across 2,451 polling units. And yesterday, INEC gave us a clear insight of what is going to happen on Saturday, with the Inspector General of Police also giving his own assurances on the security measures. So I'm not doing this alone. I have Ezewagu is with me. Ezewagu was with me in Anambra State. Ezewagu was watching the votes, a working group on Ekiti election. But what they do is that any other election is a civil society organization that they do watch the votes. Ezewagu, nice to have you.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure. Good morning. Nice to be with you again.
All right, from the fallout of the stakeholders meeting we had yesterday, what did you take away?
Well, I thought that first that the opening of the stakeholders meeting gave an insight, especially INEC, gave INEC the opportunity to feed in citizens, feed in enthusiasts, feed in international observers about what to expect in terms of their level of preparation. And one high point for me was the extension of the collection of PVC till Wednesday.
Oh, it was extended?
Yes, the extension till Wednesday, when it ordinarily should have closed.
So will it alter substantially this number of registered voters?
It's likely. This figure you mentioned was as at the day of the stakeholder meeting.
Okay.
So what then will happen is that by Wednesday, every other uncollected PVC will be warehoused at the INEC office in the state, in Ado-Ekiti. So we are likely going to see new figures, but it will not be substantially,
different from what we already have. Let's talk about the political parties. You've been around, you've been on ground, and we've seen the king contest. Mr. President is even expected sometimes today. So a lot of people would describe this as a two-horse race between the PDP and All Progressive Congress.
Ayo, we're going to be unfair to the other political parties who are in this contest. It's a perception issue. Election is a competitive enterprise, and people are going to work. The razzmatazz that you see may not necessarily be, yes, we expect that many other political parties will be doing their work, will be talking to the people, will be campaigning as well. But of course, you know that we have two dominant political parties. But if you came to that stakeholder meeting yesterday, what you saw in that stakeholder, like I told you in our private conversation, does not reflect. Because majority of the characters who came to that stakeholder meeting had no business being there. If we had said...
Who should be there?
The political parties, their candidates. Okay? Their candidates, the political parties. In fact, what you saw that eventually, dovetailed into the rancor that you saw was a mismanagement by the anchor of the program, who perhaps did not even understand the objective. The whole program was mismanaged by the anchor in such a manner that he didn't you were there, you saw perhaps why will you recognize somebody who is not a candidate of a party, who is not the chairman of a party, to make an incendiary in a gathering in which you have no control, because there was no entry permit, there is no it was on all commerce affair. The gates were open. So anybody and anybody could.
It's not meant to be so.
It's ordinarily not meant to be so. So you didn't know who was talking. All right? So for INEC, it is important that when we want to have stakeholder meeting, that they are able to clearly specify and say, party A, you are going to have to bring this number of people, this number of supporters, this number of supporters, so that people can be held responsible. But like I said, having been in Ekiti for a while and having been coming in and going out, I think that this has been perhaps much calmer than what you saw in 2014.
Much calmer than what
yes,
you saw
because
in
2014, 2 days to this election, you already seen hooded security men all over the town. You already seen supporters of political parties being arrested. You see civil society people molested. But 2 days to this, airport was already shut down. People couldn't even come in. But in this particular election, you are seeing almost just 2 days to the election, you are seeing a feeling. You've been in the town. There is no sense of that siege.
Because I wanted to talk about security.
Yes.
Talking about security, a lot of people, there's this perception that a certain political party is about to bring the federal might. The All Progressive Congress, that there's this perception that, oh, they are coming to use the federal might, and a lot of people, the other political parties also play on it, telling people that they are going to be intimidated. Like today, Mr. President is coming, an announcement came out from the governor that people should not come out. You know, when you have this kind of thing, this kind of dovetail into
well, these are things that happens before a boxing match. Before any boxing match, you see the contenders boasting, you know, but eventually you just find out that perhaps even the boxing match might become an anticlimax. But having said that, just cast your mind back to 2014.
All the elections we've been covering.
Yes.
The deployment of 30,000 policemen, deployment of 19,000 NSCDC, and probably soldiers. Will it be a normal situation?
Why I've always told you we don't interrogate deployment. So you have been observing elections.
Wouldn't that affect the psyche of the voter?
No, it does not. It has two effects.
Okay.
It's like hunger. Hunger can radicalize you. Hunger can also, you know, make you weak. First is that the people need an assurance that they are secured. If you don't also securitize, then there is going to be a problem. People will say, look, you did not provide security for this election. So the mark is, at what point have you over-securitized? That's the challenge that you have. And there is no point. It's better to over-securitize than to under-securitize. Because if you do that, if anything happens, then you are then going to say, oh, the federal government connived to make sure that this election was not properly secured. So, but having said that, it is also important that the security agents who are coming are professional, have a rule of engagement that is known to everyone, to all the parties, so that they can have a sense of belonging. We do not need to always go back to what happened in the past.
INEC claim to have fulfilled 98% of their electoral, the steps they are meant to take. Preparation.
Yes.
And from what you've seen, does it tally with their claim?
Well, I think that in terms of preparation for the election, like I said, in the stakeholder pyramid of elections, INEC occupies the topmost point. But it does not, there is a mix that provides for acceptable, free, credible election. INEC has just one component of that. We need to also speak to citizens. No matter what preparation level that you put on ground, if the citizens decide to undermine the process, there's not much anybody can do. It is the responsibility of Ekiti people to deliver to the world a free, credible election and peaceful election.
So we're not talking in terms of late arrival of
no, those things. But I think we have
scarcity of
ballot paper. But I think we have gone. I think if you followed, and I know you have followed, progressively we have made incremental progress in terms of logistics, especially when you look at Anambra, when you look at Edo, we've made incremental progress. But the big issue for all of us to pay attention may not be necessarily the violence, as a lot of people. We're going to have to pay attention to the issue of vote buying.
Vote buying?
Yes, because if you have followed the trajectory of elections since Edo, you will have seen that what has been the strongest issue in all of this conversation has been vote buying. Violence is
So it's
receding.
not manipulation on part of INEC
No.
per se.
That place is closing more and more. You know, yes, politicians are no longer.
The INEC chairman said you can't get votes in INEC.
No, and that is true. There is incremental progress in the processes within INEC. That politicians no longer find that place penetrable. So what has happened is that there is a shift to the voter. And you can follow that because luckily...
So all this noise about front loading, INEC...
No, those things... Somebody is being scammed. Somebody is being scammed.
Manipulated.
Somebody is being scammed. You know, what makes a con man is believability. When you throw out something, you need to make it believable so that the person you are talking to can believe. There is no such thing. There is no front loading. All those things are...
Somebody is planted in INEC.
No. Those things... See... AY, you followed elections. We were together in Edo. We were together. You saw that politicians came with their money to polling units.
That's the big factor.
If it was easy, if it was
easy
easy to manipulate within INEC, the politician will not bring his money to any polling unit. He doesn't need that. He will simply give somebody money, then you write the figures for him, then he tells you to go to court. Is that not what we are used to? You know? Yes. But, you know, write the figures, then let the opponent go to court. What has happened is that the voter is the king now. INEC, the processes within INEC has transformed the voter to become the king. And the politician knows that, look, even if you talk to 10 people in INEC, they have no capacity to affect the outcome of the process for you. And incidentally, AY, the media is not focusing on and being themselves keen watchers of this process. My expectation is that they will have noted the progression and that development, and how in Anambra you were there. It was a bazaar. People were arrested and released in full glare of security agents. Voters were being induced. All right? So if you notice that, what has happened is that violence goes down because there is no need to fight. In Edo, there was no need to fight when the two dominant political parties...
The highest bidder.
That is the tragedy of our election now, that we are going to concession the power to govern us to the highest bidder.
Wow. How about the buying of PVC?
That's the challenge that I'm telling you. The buying of PVC, whether it is buying of PVC or vote buying, what is important is that you want somebody to directly come and cast a vote for you. It is no longer institutional manipulation like you used to have. And we need to begin to talk to the people about the power of this PVC. What the PVC means. That shortchanging you with 2,000 naira, with 3,000 naira, with 5,000 naira, with whatever amount of money, simply do the arithmetic. For 4 years, you take 3,000 naira. What it means is that you are not going to have Medicare. Your schools will not be, you know,
nobody cares.
Yes,
nobody cares.
yes, because for them they have already bought the votes, and it's important that we mortgage the future and we explain it out of poverty. And so, you know, what can you tell a hungry man and all of that? But the truth of the matter is that the 3,000 does not take you out of poverty. It does not remove the hunger.
It's temporary.
Is a temporary relief, if there is even any relief.
Let's talk about the role of security. A lot of people are skeptical, saying that sometimes you have the security agencies colluding with politicians to, you know, and hard up staff to actually undermine this process.
Absolutely. That's the point that I'm telling you. When, for instance, you know that vote buying is an electoral offense, you know that inducing people with food and drinks is an electoral offense. The role of security agents in election is to maintain law and order. Somebody is breaking the law in your full glare. And many times they even make a joke of it and say, if you don't have money to share, why are you quarreling? I've heard that directly. What is the matter? Why are you quarreling now? You share your own money. You know? But what I'm saying is that it's the responsibility of civil society and the media to continue to put the torchlight on the citizens, to understand their own responsibility and understand the implications of selling their franchise. That when they do that, they mortgage development, they mortgage good governance, and they mortgage the opportunity to continue to expand this democratic space.
Bringing us back to what I said earlier, that it's like a two-horse race between the PDP and the APC. As in, when you look at it in terms of financial muscle, in terms of what they can muster out, when you go through the city of Ekiti, you see that it's only one or two political parties that you see their billboards. That means automatically like shutting out other political parties.
Yes, there is no level playing ground. What has made the dominant political parties tick is their access to state resources. Simple. Whether it's APC or PDP, it is access to state resources.
Contest, we have 35 on that.
No, you are not going to, because see, just imagine what it takes to play an advert on TVC. And what number of adverts you are going to play, and how much you are going to pay for that. Who has the resources to do that? But let me tell you, it didn't take
you anything to come on this.
No. This. I'm talking about the politician. If you were going to run an advert for PDP or APC on your station, you are not going to do that. It is not going to be it's not going to be a corporate responsibility issue like you are doing. It's a private organization. But in this particular case, your contemporaries elsewhere pay us for doing this. In other countries, we will have been paid. I will have given you an invoice. But I'm not going to do that. But because we are doing public service, you know. But what then is important for me is that we need to continue a conversation that takes off the hand of these dominant political parties from state funds. How do we separate your personal money? Yes. How do we separate your personal money from the resources of the state? As we are seeing, if you are in this state, you wouldn't even know who the contestants are. Even in the dominant, you are still going to see the presence of the state. The president is coming today with all the vestiges of federal might. The governor is directly in charge. Not just, in fact, he leads, others follow according to their campaign. So you see that other political parties would be negotiating right now, would be in a point of, you know, they've been so muzzled out that what is going to be happening is, okay, let's go there and see what we can do. But, Ayo, the responsibility is for our citizens to determine that we will make this democracy work for us.
Isn't one Wago is watching the votes. I'm sure we're going to be doing this together till the election, and you know, so that we can keep talking, the conversation ongoing, and keep talking about those things that will make our democracy credible. Over to you, Ngozi and Mike.
All right. Thank you so much, Ayo. There seems to be so much going on. But we have to leave you now to get set for the arrival of the president and how other issues are going on in Ekiti. And certainly we know that we get updates from you as we get along on the day's bulletins. Thank you, Ayo, for all the updates there.